Hello guys, King Happy here and welcome back to King Talks. So, if this is the first series you're watching of mine, it's probably not the best place to start. Go look at my Let's Play instead. I'll be putting some backing footage in here about working on my Let's Play world, neating it up and stuff, making it look a bit more presentable so I can move forward with it. And I'm going to talk about a couple of subjects today. So, in goes backing footage. So today's working title thus far is Sleep and Success. I'm going to kind of give you a window into my mind and how I think. So if you're interested in that, this is going to be a very deep and thoughtful episode. Yeah, it might relate to some other people as well, so it may be interesting there. It's going to be very personal, kind of a sort of window into my life, kind of mindset and everything else. A little bit of understatement, I guess, more of a mine shaft into my brain. Probably a little bit more accurate there. So we'll just jump straight into this because I've got some notes, but I'm trying to piece it together as I go. I've got a whole load of questions and things which have come up recently from comments and Twitter and such that kind of tie into things that I've been mulling over for years in my brain, and I think it's a nice way to explain it all in one thing now. So I generally review my own actual personality and everything else every couple of months at least. It's just one of those things that I muse over. Normally when I'm actually meant to be going to bed or something, I'm going to sleep, I just think about these things. I'm always self-critical and everything else, always evaluate myself for random reasons when I'm bored, and it's a bit weird. I think a lot of people do it as well, so it's okay. I hope anyway. So one of the things that I've really been clear about over quite a few years now is that I play too many games. It's one of those things. My parents have always told me, everyone else has already told me, I play too many games. I play games over other things. Would I describe myself as a gaming addict? Kind of. Addiction to games isn't really. It's a bit more of a loose thing for a lot of people because people normally see addiction as a physical addiction to like drugs or alcohol, those drugs, but gambling or women and smoking and stuff like that. Anything else, normal things like that, people see as addictions. You go get treatment if you need it. If they're self-destructive, you go do that, and different ways to deal with it and everything else. But gaming is a bit different, and it's very new compared to most other things, and it's interesting how people do deal with it. Now, I've always played games. Sometimes I play games in detriment to other things. I've always gotten away with it though because I've always been a very, very clever person, so I can sit and play games and then go to my exams and everything else, and I've always done well in exams and always done really well at school and everything else. Hasn't really affected it. I've always seemed to have time to do games, so I played them. So would I describe myself as a gaming addict? I would say kind of yes, maybe. I'm the sort of person though, because at a young age I decided that I had too many addictions in my life already. So mostly games and money. Yeah, I'm quite fond of money. So at a young age I decided that I don't want to fill my life with all these different addictions. If I was going to be addicted to something, I'd be just addicted to one thing, and games just happen to be that thing. I don't drink tea or coffee. I decided that at a very young age, I said, in principle, if I'm going to be playing games and stuff, I don't want tea and coffee as addictions to jump on top of that as well. I don't want to be dependent on a whole string of things. I'm someone that if I turned to alcohol, I could go and be an alcoholic if I wanted to. I could go gambling and spend all my money kind of thing. No, I'd really get the buzz from things like gambling. Even on really low risk machines, I can sit there with a couple of pounds and spend it and then kind of get a rush and want to bring back like 10 times more. And I'm an actor as well, so I know the gambler's ruin, I know the statistics on it all, I know the whole plot of them, I know the financial models behind them, but I'll do it anyway just for the buzz. And when I realised that games was the cheap way of getting that kind of buzz without having any sort of physical detriment, well, as in not like physical addiction rather than malnourishment or something from not eating from playing too many games, and not spending loads of money, not gambling instead. It seemed like a more of a safer thing to do, sort of to occupy my mind. So I've been playing games for years now, from like 7 or 8 years old kind of thing. So 14, 15 years thus far. So yeah, and I've always done it as a very sort of level-headed thing, which seems a bit unreasonable, but it kind of isn't. So I've always played games which are cheap to run, so even if they got monthly membership fees and everything else, they've always justified to me as, they're, even though I'm playing loads of this game, it's cheap for how much time I'm spending on it. So it's always kind of been worked out there, and I've always gone and worked and done all my school and everything else, so that it's always paid for itself in plenty. So I've been with my girlfriend for over 5.5 years now, actually, and she doesn't understand my mentality on gaming at all. So for instance, it's not really centered around gaming itself, it just seems to be the outlet for it. But even if I'm reading books and things like that, I cannot sit there and just read a book. I can't just focus on that one thing. I have to be multitasking. I mentioned that before in a couple of things. I always have to be doing more than one thing at once, otherwise I get bored. I need that much sort of focus on different things to keep me entertained. So when I read books incredibly fast. I went through a stage in my life where I was going through 2,000, 3,000 pages a week through school, just reading books, and I'd read anything, and just literally 10, 15 books a week. Yeah. And then the computer came in. But even when I was reading loads and loads of books when I went to bed and stuff, I always played music at the same time and listened to it on headphones and things like that. So I always had to be doing more than one thing at once, and a lot of people never kind of really understood how I could sort of do both. But that's how I kind of worked. I got bored if I was just doing one of them. So I can't sit there and listen to music, I need to be doing something else as well, and I can't sit there and read on its own. So I've always a person where I can't stop. If I stop, I get bored, and then I'm not very happy. No pun intended. The only time I can really slow down is with my girlfriend. I can actually kind of relax. I physically can't really relax otherwise. So she's really been a strong thing in my life for over a quarter of my life now. So yeah, she's definitely one of the biggest, most important things for me. Kind of my rock, I guess. So anyway, because I'm always got to be doing something, everything's always fast paced for me. I'm always trying to keep occupied, always trying to do things, and always fill my time with as much as I can. Not only to make things go faster, but just to keep me from stop me stopping. So one of my all-time favourite lines, and one of the lines that means most to me in my life, is actually a quote from one of my favourite songs. And good luck finding the song, or if you know it, kudos to you. And the quote is, "Save my life from slow motion." And that really defines me as a person, and that's how I live. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So I've been having a lot of questions recently about things such as, there's one person that actually asked quite a few times on different videos the same thing. One of the things that, no, I'm not someone that will just be annoyed or frustrated by a certain comment, even if it's given over in a manner which I think is trying to bait me or something else, because I don't really care. I enjoy the intellectual entertainment of it. I like thinking about the actual problem, the question they're asking. And the question was, do you regret spending so much time playing games when you could be doing something else? So I've always played games, but at the same time I've always done so many other things at once. So through my A-levels, through my GCSEs, through university, I've always been playing games. I've always been doing the actual work for everything else, been doing well on it, and I've always been working. So I've been employed since 13, I've been earning money since 13, I come out of university with no debt, because I've been working so much. So It's not like I'm doing games and just sitting around doing nothing. Not that at all. I've done very well at school. I'm an educated person, and I'm financially secure for the moment. For now, anyway. Until I need to buy a house, I guess. So, do I regret what I've been doing? No, and I probably won't. Now, I've got a huge amount of memories from gaming. I've gamed with so many people across the world that I know very well, and there's a lot of people that, even though I haven't played games with them for maybe 6 years, I would still trust them absolutely, and I know they'll trust me as well. They're kind of bonds that I struggle to actually achieve those bonds with people in real life, kind of face to face. It's just one of those experiences that you always hold with you, and it's something really important to kind of accept and carry on with, I guess. Good life-changing model anyway. So yes, because I've always been playing games, and because I've said before, I am a defeating game culture kind of person. I will play a game into the ground, play it for hours and hours and hours until I beat it. If I beat it quickly, then that's the price of the game. I move on to another thing. There's a load of games which I play and repeat, things like Dune, and there's some other ones as well which I really enjoy, and each time I come back to them I beat them faster and faster and faster. But generally I'm not a person for games consoles, because that was a question a lot. No, E3, Xbox, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? I haven't touched a games console for 6 or 8 years. Like physically not even played on one, or basically even seen one. Because I actually went and bought myself a PlayStation 2, a Slimline, when they came out, with my own money from working. That was a very long time ago actually, and it's the point where I've been playing games which are fairly cheap, either to run or to buy or anything else. So when it came to PlayStation, stuff like that, you're buying a game which is 30-40 quid a go, and maybe you got 20 hours of gameplay out of them, or 30 hours or 40 hours. 40 hours would be a really good one for a lot of those games, and kind of where I would be playing like £40, 40 hours, I would get through them maybe a week or less and finish them, and that'll be done. So you'll be then looking at 40, 50 quid a week kind of costing, instead of maybe £5 a month. So the point with games consoles is that I'm very stringent with what I use money for, and sometimes I do go out and just buy things because I can, like gadgets, things to the PC, stuff like that. Not like cars or anything else, don't worry about that. But I've never been in the mindset to go out and just spend 50 quid a week on games, because that's what I need to do to keep up with my own pace of gaming. So I've never really gone near consoles since then. Hasn't been worth it financially, and just haven't needed to do that. PC games have been fine for me. I've always had a PC. So yeah, that's why I haven't actually touched a games console for ages, and I probably won't either for a very long time, because I don't need one. I can play Minecraft. Doesn't cost me anything to play Minecraft now. I've bought the thing initially. There's no continuation fees at the moment. Financially, in my mind, it makes sense. I'm doing something which I'm enjoying still. I'm still trying to beat the game, but this game is a good one, and so are other ones I've played before, such that you can't really technically beat it. You can get to a point which you feel like you've done everything, but it should keep adapting, and you can't really sit there and go, I've done everything, stop the game, new game. I'm not at that point yet, so it's good still. So that's why I'm playing Minecraft still. Okay, so let me see. Okay, that's the E3 stuff out of the way with, the gaming stuff away with, and everything else. I was asked what my goals for YouTube, and I do actually have some, not really goals, but kind of things that I would like to see happen, which probably won't, but I'd like to see happen anyway. At the current rate of subs in the last couple of weeks, I could possibly hit 15k by the end of this month, as in June. be really, really close, but I could get really, really close to that, maybe, if I'm lucky. Which would be fantastic to see, actually. Be really, really cool. And maybe by the end of the year I might be at 50k. The kind of thing where if I had 50k subs, I could probably make enough money to make it worthwhile. But yeah, that's a very, very long way away, I will admit. And I don't know if I get to that going back to university either, but we'll just see how that goes. So I also asked if I could do this as a job. So I'm assuming that if I had enough subscribers and views to justify it as a livable job, not kind of scraping from month to month to kind of cover rent and bills and that sort of thing. No, there's living and then there's living. Then surviving and living, I guess, is the difference. If I had that opportunity to sit there and say, this is what you could be paid as doing whatever job you want to do, or you could do YouTube for the same money, I'll do YouTube. I really enjoy doing it. I wish I had more time to do it. If I was doing it full time, I could get out a heck of a lot more content of the same quality, and it'd be really nice, but it's just a lack of time at the moment. So yeah, I would if I could, but I can't yet, and don't know if I will ever be able to. So yeah, and one of the things that comes from my mindset, as my brain is always going very, very fast, it's always trying to do things, always trying to keep occupied, I've always been an insomniac. So you'll be kind of, it's loose how you define being an insomniac. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means that you don't sleep very much and you have trouble sleeping. And there's loads of types of spectrum of it and everything else. If I had to describe myself, I'd probably say I'm a self-induced insomniac to a point. My brain's always very, very active, almost thinking about things. I'm always mulling over things or trying to think of different variations of stuff, or running through different scenarios in my head for things for no reason at all, basically. So when I try and go to sleep, I barely ever sleep because of that. If I'm thinking about something, then I just won't go to sleep. My brain will not turn off. So over the last probably 7 years, 8 years, I've been employing a method that I've come to think of as crash and burn. And this is how I sleep, because I basically, there are a couple of ways you can get to sleep if you're an insomniac. You can either go through different methods such as hot bath before bed and getting the actual body to cool down and the hormones to actually make you feel sleepy and drowsy, and then you go to sleep. Or I go for my crash and burn method, so I am always working. If I'm not working, I'm asleep or eating. Otherwise I'm working. Basically, I don't stop. I just can't. So when I need to go to sleep, I basically just keep working until I physically can't stay awake. You get past the too tired barrier, and you just get to the point where if you lay down in bed in 20 minutes or half an hour, you will just drop off to sleep because your body needs the rest. And there's nothing your brain can do about it. It's gone past that point. So I do crash and burn. So I always work as hard as I can for as long as I can. Same way as when I was younger, I used to read books till 3 in the morning when I was at school, just so that, trying to get my body to get sleepy and tired and my eyes to get droopy and everything else, so that I can actually get a good night's sleep. Otherwise I could spend the whole night just tossing and turning and not actually getting any sleep at all. So I do operate on a very small amount of sleep compared to most people, and it's been a long time to get my body used to that. 4 or 5 hours, my body is fine with that. It might need a break every few weeks or every few months, but generally that's how my body actually operates. So it's okay with that, and it's taken a long time to get used to, but it's just how I deal with it personally. It doesn't work for most people, I guess, but for me that's how I do it, and that's how I keep going. So there was a couple of things that I wanted to suggest. So there was a couple of things. So if I do hit 15k by the end of this month, subscribers, I probably would do a video log. No, I have nothing wrong with how I look. I'm not ashamed. I look quite good, actually, I will be honest. My girlfriend thinks so, or at least she doesn't say I don't. So yeah, I've got nothing wrong with doing a vlog or anything else. If I hit 15k by the end of the month, chance of it happening about 20%, I guess. We'll see. Bit different. So let's see. Yes, I've got a couple of questions now which should be a bit thought-provoking, and these are some things that I've been sort of mulling over, and after a while I think I've thought of all different variations of the problem, thought about each side, all different arguments for it and everything else, and then if I give it to you guys as a question, I'm sure you guys will think of different variations, different answers to the questions. So, first one is, people may tell you when you're younger, or just in general, if you're playing games online with other people, people tell you it's antisocial. So, where is the line, even technology now, where is the line between antisocial, as in not talking to people, and being social online? Now, which bit is which? Is talking to people online antisocial, or is it social? What do you think? Next, I've got one which does entertain me quite a lot, and there's a serious flaw in the question, but there are so many different variations of how you could answer it and how you could think about it. It's quite fun to do. I've probably thought about most of them, but I'm sure you can have a nice insight on this. When you're playing survival Minecraft, is how often you die reflective on how good you are at the game? So, forgetting the fact that survival is the ability to stay alive, we're talking about in just a general Minecraft play, not a kind of a principle of surviving Minecraft. So is the amount of times you die in the game reflect on how good you are? So maybe the more times you die, the worse you are at the game? Or no, there are tons of different answers for this. I'd love to hear your own view. I've got my own view, but I'd love to see that. So, I think that is about it. A lot of things going on today. I hope I've given over a good representation of some things. I know not many people watch this compared to the other series, and not many people get to the end. So sometimes I do like to give something at the end, so I guess those questions I just asked are the kind of ending things. So if you answer them, it will show that you have watched the end of the video, I guess. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of an idea about me a bit more. And I'll leave you with one more thing, which I do have on my notes still. And that's, what makes you happy and how do you define success? And this is one of the things that has been heavily on my mind the last couple of years, especially this year on placement. What do you define as success? Now, what's going to make you happy? In general, I always thought earning lots of money. My whole theory of life was earn lots of money as fast as you can, and then stop once you have enough, and then do whatever you actually want to do. That was always my mentality. That's what I've been doing. That's why I've been training for a very highly paid job. That's why I've always been working, and that's how I've lived. But in the last year, I've been really reflecting on that you don't need a huge amount of money to live and rent a house or buy a house or anything else and just survive. Now, you may not be rich, but you could live on it, and they'll give you freedom to do whatever you wanted to do. And that line between success and happiness and sort of getting money has become very, very blurred for me this year, and kind of not sure what I want to carry on with. Just thinking about it a lot recently. So that probably is the end of the video. I need to wrap it up, and I hope you have enjoyed and had some thinking to do. Good luck, guys, and thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you next time.